brutally beaten to death by 5 Memphis police officers, and the things that some of you have been saying have been absolutely disgusting. Sports journalist, podcaster, and literal pig Jason Whitlock blamed single black women for the murder of Tyrie Nichols.
Like gang violence to me. It looked like what young black men do when they're supervised by a single black woman.
Now, I will say that I thought old girl was married, but I don't know what the Memphis police chief's relationship status has to do with whether or not she's qualified to do her job. What I do know is no one was placed on paid administrative leave following a murder. The body cam footage was meticulously released, which shows how much she cares about the public. I know that she, along with the family of Tyrie Nichols, asked for a peaceful protest because the footage was so bad she knew it would cause an outrage. Do not watch the footage if you do not have to. There's not a need to riot because the police officers were held accountable, as they should have been because they behaved like criminals. He had the nerve to open his poorly chapped mouth to blame this violence on single mothers.
Chaos and disunity and violence that we see in a lot of these cities that are run by single mothers.
If an unmarried 55-year-old overweight black man won't do anything else, he'll blame a single black mother for his upbringing, his anger, or for the void he has yet to fill.
Now, I agree with this sister 100%. Black men can't find a suitable wife in America, so they're taking their passport to go anywhere across the world, whoever will take them. It's the black women's fault that out of 340 million people in America, about 170 million are women. Out of the 170 million women, they couldn't find one that was suitable for a wife. The reason why the neighborhoods are not developed is black women's fault. The reason why they can't find wives or stay in good marriages is black women's fault. The reason why most of them are in prison and behind bars is black women's fault. Now, this young man was brutally murdered by other black men. It is still black women's fault. These guys will never take responsibility for their action. The fact that they have so many babies, mama, they have babies out of wedlock with so many different women is black women's fault. They will never take accountability or responsibility for their actions, their decisions, and their choices. The fact that they cannot even take care of those babies is the man's fault, the white man's fault. It's the system fault. The man keeping them down. The system keeping them down. There's racial profiling. Oh, the white men don't like them. It's colonialism. It's because they have been traumatized because of slavery. All those excuses. They always find a justifiable reason to finger point and blame shift to everyone else for their problems but themselves when they are the problem. Black women who have been in this nation have fought and are still fighting to raise themselves by their bootstraps, that they have come to become some of the most highly educated women in the world amongst the black race globally. The black women could have very well used those same excuses and sit down and be useless, but they decided to make something better of themselves. Or is the black Pookie? Now, I'm not saying every black man would know there are some pretty decent, respectable, mature, and responsible black men who stay with their families, and even if they divorce for whatever reason, they are still part of their children's lives. I'm not talking about those. My hat out to them. I salute them. I'm talking about those, some people call them Pookie and Ray Rays or passport brothers or undercover or under down low brothers. Anything that goes wrong in their lives is their mother's fault, their grandmother's fault, their auntie fault, their wife's fault, the ex-wife's fault, their baby's mama's fault. Everything, all the fault goes back to black women. But what these black men don't seem to realize, who is the head of the household, or who is the head of the family? If they as men were taking responsibility and taking charge as head of the family won't be disrupted and destroyed the way it has been destroyed. But because they refuse to take responsibility as the head of the household, they leave the women no other choice but to be the head. And then the women become the head, the supporter, the provider, the breadwinner. They say, oh, you are too masculine. Well, the women are too masculine because you are too feminine. The woman has to take your role, play your role, and play their roles in raising the family or in the household. And you see the women's fault. You can't provide for your children. You have babies, mama, all over the place. Whatever money they make, they have to split it between 3, 4, 5 babies, mama. They say, oh, it's the man's fault. It's the system fault. But the men didn't stop you from laying up with all these women to make babies by them without marrying any of them. I don't know where was this man or this system. The man or the system were nowhere to be found when you were laying up and having babies with different women all over the place. The men didn't stop you from making babies. The men didn't stop you, and the system did not stop you from making babies with multiple women. But the system and the men are preventing you now from taking care of those babies. But where were they when you were making them? Black men that fit this category. So if you don't fit this category, don't get offended. This message is not for you. You are a good black man. You take care of your family. I appreciate you. I love you. I support you. And I salute you for that. Continue to do that. But the rest of the brothers, they know themselves. And they know this message is for them. Where are your... You are not taking responsibility for your action, but you are blaming black women left, right, and center. It's always the black woman's fault. Listen to our beautiful sister here.
Upbringing, his anger, or for the void he has yet to fill. What that black man could have used the Fox News network platform for was to speak out against police brutality. He could have called out the blatant abuse of power. He could have given his condolences to Tyrie Nichols' mom and stepdad, who will never get to see him skateboard again. But he did not, and that's unfortunate. I keep asking myself why these platforms allow black men to get onto them and speak so negatively about their community, so negatively about black men, so negatively about black women. But with each tragedy, the motive becomes more apparent. There is a mental health crisis that is killing everybody around us, and we are too focused on spewing podcast rhetoric to see it. This situation with the police officers wasn't swept under the rug. They didn't get paid administrative leave. They were let go and then arrested. How much anger, how much need for power and control must one have to beat someone that was already defenseless to death? The people do not want war with police officers. The people want peace.
You see, if black men, if they can't take their anger out on black women, they take their anger out on each other and brutalize each other, whether verbally, whether physically, whether they tear each other down on social media, or they tear black women down on social media, or they make a mockery and a ridicule of each other or of black women, and then some of you will come and say, are you not doing the same thing? Hi, Matt. We are pointing out the right and the wrong behavior of black men. And as I stand corrected, not every black man fit this category. I understand that. And those men that are holding their head as men, I respect you, I honor you, I salute you, and I appreciate you. And I say keep standing as the head and the man of your family. But this video is for those one, they know themselves, but they'll come and deflect and bring all kinds of useless. We need to grow up. The black men that fit this category that she's talking about, that I'm talking about, that she's referring to, that I'm referring to, you need to man up. You need to mature. You need to grow up. You need some healing. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, even sexually, financially. You need to be healed at the molecular, cellular, atomic DNA level. Your DNA needs to be healed and repaired. My friend, yes, it needs to be.
No one wants to feel like they have to record every second of an encounter with a police officer because they fear that that'll be their last. No one wants the blood-curdling scream for their mother to be the last things that they say. The 5 police officers involved in the brutal murder of Tyrie Nichols need to never see the light of day. My heart goes out to the family of Tyrie Nichols, and I pray that one day his mother will heal.